Hola clase, my name is Madeline Phelan and I will be teaching you about Spanish verbs. There are three types of verbs, AR, ER, and IR verbs. These verbs are called infinitives because they consist of a stem and an ending. Today we will be learning about how to conjugate verbs. We will start with the regular present tense form of conjugating. Take a look at this chart. We will be using it as we learn. Let's start with AR ending verbs. For example, yo will end in O, tú will end in as, él, ella, and usted will end in a, nosotros and nosotras will end in amos, and ellos, ellas, ustedes will end in an. Those are the subject pronouns and the changing conjugation for the AR verbs. Now we will go on to ER verb endings. Yo will end in O, tú will end in es, él, ella, and usted will end in e, nosotras and nosotras will end in imos, ellos, ellas, and ustedes will end in en. For IR verbs, they will start with yo ending in O, tú ending in S, él, ella, and usted ending in e, nosotros and nosotras ending in imos, and ellos, ellas, and ustedes ending in en. Now we shall take a look at three types of irregular verbs. Irregular verbs are stem changing when conjugated and consist of three different types of stem changes, O to UE, E to IE, and E to I. Let's take a look at these irregular verbs. When using the verb almorzar, the stem changes from O to UE. When using the verb querer, the stem changes from E to IE. And when using the verb seguir, the stem changes from E to I. Now we will be taking a look at two very common irregular verbs that mean to be, ser and estar. The two verbs indicate different things and are conjugated differently than most verbs. It is important to remember how to conjugate both verbs accordingly. How to memorize what each verb indicates is by using acronyms. Ser's acronym is doctor, meaning description, occupation, characterization, time/date, origins, and relationship. And Estar's acronym is place, meaning position, location, action, condition, and emotion. Another common irregular verb is ir. How you conjugate it accordingly is also different compared to most other verbs. Now we will look at present continuous verbs for a second. This verb tense can be used when describing action taking place at the time of speaking. To use, simply drop the end of the verb and add its gerund ending. AR verbs change to ando, while IR and ER verbs change to aniendo ending. Preterite tense. This tense is used when speaking of the past and is conjugated differently than we have learned. Thankfully, although the conjugations are different, ER and IR verbs are conjugated the same. We will look at three irregular verbs that don't follow the normal conjugating rules, dar, ser, and ir. Finally, we are on to imperfect tense. We use imperfect tense when talking about what once was, describing a past action, and when describing places, objects, and people in the past. Two irregular verbs that do not follow the regular rules of conjugation are ser and ir. It is super important to remember how to conjugate these irregular verbs since they aren't conjugated the same way as other verbs are. Now, it is quiz time. Feel free to stop the video after each question is asked so that you have a chance to answer them on your own. Conjugate the verb entender in preterite tense. Conjugate the verb ser in imperfect tense. Conjugate the verb mirar in preterite tense. Conjugate the verb ir in imperfect tense. Conjugate the verb tomar in present tense. I hope you all did great on your quiz and have learned a bit about Spanish verbs. Adios!